You signed your job offer and today is your first day. You're in the office or at home, you are going on onboarding. And the first thing you're asked to do is to clone our repo and please start understanding what does it even mean to start investigation of the project and how to clone the repo. Of course, you will get a link to the repo, and for example, I'm working using the GitHub and my company is working on the GitHub. And you will get a link to one of the repos, such as, for example, we have a CoinKeeper, our project that we've been developing together with you guys. Here's the link, what you need to do. So first of all, you need to understand that from now on, you are very happy to start using the version control. And I'm going to explain to you what it is and how to use it. But without further ado, without details that we might not need for now, let me just quickly explain to you. First thing first, you will need to somehow clone the repo to your machine. You go to the code, to the local, and just copy the link that you have here. Now you have two options. The option number one is to go to your terminal, go to whatever you want. For example, I want to go to desktop. You write cd desktop, meaning that your machine will go to the desktop folder. And you just paste the link that you have and you hit enter. The GitHub the terminal, let's say, will create a folder on the folder that you're in my case is desktop, with the project. But this is kind of a hardcore way to use the terminal nowadays. I want to show you the way more easier way how to do that. The GitHub has a desktop thingy. So you go to desktopgithub.com, I will attach the link in the description, and you simply download it for your machine, either Windows or Mac or Linux, whatever. Now, when you got it installed, you copy the same link. First thing first you need to do is to authenticate. So you go to GitHub into the settings and sign in. It will ask you to go to the browser, and if you're in the browser under the company account, it will automatically track it. If not, you will be asked to input some credentials if you're not logged in, but mine already sees it, so I'm just opening on the desktop. Now I have basically connected my desktop application with my repos. I can see that I already have some repository here. But what you will need to do, again, you will need to copy that link, go here, click here and say clone repository. You select the URL, it might be here. It might provide you the list of the repos that you already have, but most likely you'll have one or two, or you can just go to URL, paste the link, and create the folder on your desktop, and just hit the clone button. Now, when it's all done, you are set and ready to start using the version control. You already have a couple of buttons to go directly to your code editing. Now, after your application has been cloned, you need to run a couple of commands such as npm install, because the way GitHub cloning the repo, it's not cloning the node modules and it's not installing any dependencies. So you will need, first thing to do is to do all that preparation in order to use your application. So let's just wait a little bit. Now, when everything is done, set up and ready, let's see how you're gonna work. So for example, you wanna do some change. And let's say you're gonna just add some dummy console log and just save it. Now, if we go to our GitHub application, we will see that we already have something changed here, but yeah, of course it tracks some unnecessary files, but this is another story. This is something that should, most likely in the real project, you won't see that because we're gonna have a kind of an ignorance, then some files are not gonna be tracked by the changes. So here we have our src views authentication view. It instantly tracks the changes when you save your change. And now you can basically do a commit. Commit is you're committing the changes to push them into the branch. But here is a trick. If you do the commit 1, for example, and add some description, as soon as you hit it, you will try to commit your change into your main branch. It's gonna call master or develop in case of real project. And 100% that the direct committing and pushing to the main branch is forbidden, because obviously they need to protect the main branch, because main branch is the very main, very crucial branch with the latest changes, with the stable version of your code, and it's not illegal to do any changes directly. In that case, people invented branches. So if one of the engineers want to do a feature, fix a bug, create some new UI, he will create a new branch. So how can you do that? You can go to your IDE, and for instance, regarding the JetBrains IDE, you can create a new branch directly from the UI. In the VS Code, you have pretty similar stuff, but also you can create your branch using the GitHub desktop application. So you see current branch here, you click the drop down and you can create a new branch. So let's create a feature one branch, feature one, even say new branch, name, blah, 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 create branch. Yeah, leave my changes on main, bring my changes to feature one. So meaning that the changes that you've already done, you can just grab with yourself. And let's see what we're gonna have. On your IDE, you will have an ability to see your feature branch. You can see it from the drop-down in my case, you can see it from the plugin. If you have it, you can see that branch, or you can just using the terminal say git checkout and the name of the branch, feature one. And you will see switched to the feature one, which is awesome. And we're here. So now let's commit, let's save our changes. We can go here and we can commit. For the commit, you need to write a message. This is my very first commit, and some description here. It is not mandatory to have a description. We commit, everything is committed. Now you no longer see your file within the list of the changed files. And also you have a publish branch. What does it mean? We already created it, right? But yes, we did create the branch, but that branch is only locally available for us only. If we want that branch to be visible for any other people, we need to publish it. So you just simply hit publish to origin. Now if we go back, we will see that our changes has been committed. We don't see any visual sign that we have unsaved changes, blah, blah, blah. If we go to the version control plugin, which is Git in case of my IDE, anyways, we will see our change here. So now if I go to the main branch and check this out, I don't have these changes. And this is absolutely fine because our changes were created in our other branch, in a feature branch. So how do I bring my changes to the main branch? Ideally, in the real life, you will need to create a pull request. So how I do that? I go back to my GitHub repo, to your working GitHub repo. I want to create a pull request. GitHub will automatically track the changes and allow you create it. Even if not, you can go to pull requests, new pull request. What you will need to do here is just to specify which branch and which changes I want to bring into main. So we select our feature branch, we see the change, everything is fine, and create pull request. Please review my pull request. It is very interesting changes. And you can, for example, assign yourself so everybody would see it. You can put some labels here if you have one. For example, it's a bug fix, blah, blah, blah. And you create your pull request. Then other engineers will go and see your pull request available by the link. They will go and see, they can see your commits here. They can see the files changed, and they can leave a question. For instance, why do we need it? And add a single comment or start a review, whatever, right? And then if everything is fine, they're gonna review the change and say, okay, looks good to me, and submit the review. Unfortunately, I will not be able to submit my pull request because I'm the author, but as soon as the changes are approved, you will see the green light here in conversation. When everything is discussed within your team, your colleagues gave you a review, submitted it, and your changes are good to go, you will have this branch has no conflicts, blah, 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 and you can merge it. It means that from now on, after you click that button, your changes from the feature branch will appear in the main branch. So let's give it a try. Confirm. Now, how to update your branch? If you're using WebStorm or VS Code, you will have an ability button basically to update. For instance, in my case, I have update project. And if I click it, I will have everything up to date. But also if you're using terminal, you can just say git pull and see if you have something. Here we go. We have our change here. We can even see who has done it. And also in the git plugin, we will see that our change was done here in that separated branch because we created a new branch. This is the main branch. Then we created a new branch, did the change, and then merged it back directly to here. And also, if we go back to our Git and then fetch the origin, this is also how you can update the change. So let's try another time. So for instance, I want to go to my feature branch. I can check it out. If you want to check out using terminal, you can say git checkout. What was it? Feature 1, and you'll automatically be switched to it. Or you can go to here, to the GitHub client, just select the branch you want and switch. Now we are on the main. Everything easy as that. So let's check one more case. Imagine you are continue working on your feature branch. Everything is cool. You can go commit your change. Message for feature 1. We commit it. We push it using the Git CLI. Also, it's very, very easy. But now let's imagine that we have another engineer that wants to do something in parallel with you. So let's say we have a feature 2 branch, and he creates his branch from main branch. And as you can see, he doesn't have the changes from my branch. If it's something crucial, and I want to be sure that while I'm working in my branch, I also want to have the changes from the main branch. I want to make sure there are no conflicts, because if I have something here, I will obviously overlap with the one on the feature branch 1, right? So what I do, I just wait up until my colleague from feature branch 1 will finish his changes. So let's do it. Let's actually remove it and go to feature branch 1. And I wanna now move my changes from only this branch to a main branch. So again, I want to go to pull requests. I want to create a new pull request from feature 1. And I see that change here. So I create a pull request, blah, 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 whatever, create, and I'm going to quickly merge it. Merge, confirm, yes. Now, let's check if everything is there. So if I go to main branch, check it out, and I want to update it, I can do it using the drop-down update project, or again, I can go to terminal and say git pull. I will see that from now on, I have this change, another one. Now, let's go back to feature 2, checkout. So now I want to do another change on my feature branch that will most likely overlap. Now let's go and commit and change for feature 2. I want to commit to feature 2, and I want to, of course, again, publish my branch. So just to make sure everything is there, I want to go and check to my repo that I have 3 branches as expected. The main one and feature 2, right? Right. Now, but how can I bring the changes from main that includes the feature 1 changes to my feature 2? If you are using UI, you can just simply do the following. You can open the drop-down or your version control. You can click the branch you want and merge main into feature 2. This will bring the changes from main branch or whatever branch you want to your branch. If you are using terminal, you can say git merge and the name of the branch where you want to grab all the changes and move to your. We have a main. Now we have a conflict, obviously, right? Because we have the same, like we have this from our merge, from our feature 2 branch, and we have this from our main, which we initially merged from feature 1. So you can fix it manually here, just removing and restructuring the code however you like. And as soon as it's done, we just gonna commit the changes and that's gonna be it. So just let's go back to the GitHub CLI. By the way, before we commit, if we wanna look at what are the actually happening, what is happening in our versioning system. So imagine we used to have the master branch. So let it be a master branch. Then the feature 1 user decided to create his changes and created a branch called feature 1 and did some changes here. Then he moved his changes into the master branch, extending it with his changes right here. Then there was another user that created his branch, which was called feature 2, and did some changes here. But while he was doing his changes, the user number 1 decided to create another pack of changes and push it into the master branch here. So basically, by the time we wanted to push our changes from feature branch 2, we had a conflict here that we were supposed to resolve. But after resolving the conflict, everything is fine and we got both changes from feature 1 and feature 2 working perfectly in the main branch. And if you go to any of the version control plugins, I have it by default in my IDE, we will see pretty similar thing here. So we used to have just one master branch, then the light purple one, so to say. Then we've created another branch, purple one, which is feature branch 1. We did some change and we pushed it back to main, extending it. Then another developer created an orange branch called feature branch 2, did the change and pushed it. However, we can see that the main branch is not connected with it because main branch doesn't have yet the changes, this one that we have, from the feature 2. And I forgot that we need to actually resolve the conflict. So here we will see that resolve conflict to continue, view conflict, continue merge, and we basically have it resolved here. Everything is fine. The only thing that we will need to do is to push the changes. We push it and everything is awesome. Now we have everything pushed. The last thing we want to do is we're gonna move our changes from feature 2 to main. So let's compare pull request, create feature 2 PR. Let's see what we've got. We have 2 commits, 1 file change, then we can see our change here. So let's just create pull request. We wait for other developers to approve it and we merge the pull request. Now let's go and check this out. So we did everything. Let's go to the main branch. You can check it out like this, or again, we can go and check it out using our Git CLI. We're fetching, so meaning that we're checking for new changes. We see that, there are 3 changes. Let's pull them into our branch. And here, automatically switched here, we can see that our changes is here and perfectly done. The way I painted it, you can also see pretty much in any Git log. I have it by default. If you're using VS Code, you will need to install the Git lens extension. But we can see pretty much same situation here. So we used to have main 1, then we created another branch, did the change, push it back to main. Then we created yet another branch, did some changes, merged with that one, and eventually pushed it to main branch. Of course, when it comes to a big project, you will have huge amount of branches here. Some of them won't be changed, some of them will have conflicts and stuff like that, but this is how it works. So you create your branch, you do the changes, you push it, and you merge it to develop. You create another branch, you do changes. Sometimes you will need to merge changes from your branch to here to make sure that you're working with an updated code. And again, do the same. Commit and push. This is it. If you had any questions, please leave a comment. I will try to describe it in details. But anyways, thanks for watching. Have a nice day and see you in the next videos.